Well, okay, should we go ahead and get started? What do you think, Christy?
Yes, sure.
Everybody
ready?
We'll leap right into it. There you go. Well, let me go ahead and get my share screen going.
Mm-hmm.
And Christy, I'll let you add people as they come on.
Yes, I will.
Super. And
I see some new faces today. Maybe tell about yourself, just 3 words.
yeah, please do. Yeah.
Yeah, just by yourself. Just tell about yourself, please.
Myself?
Yes, yes.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Yeah, my name is Jeff Schlieper, and I've spent a lot of time in Ukraine over the last 17 years now, I guess. And of course, with COVID, I'm not able to travel, so we're doing these meetings on Zoom. And I live in the state of Washington, which is way up north in the western part of the United States near Canada. And we live near the Pacific Ocean. And we live in the city of Olympia, which is a small city, but it's actually the capital of our state. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this presentation for everybody today. And let me go ahead and let me get this slideshow started. Here we go. Yay! Have we got that? Everyone can see it, I imagine?
Yes, great.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. American leisure time, or what we in America call free time. So you'll hear Americans say free time. You'll hear people from Great Britain will say leisure time. So leisure time is really more correct, but Americans, we're not always correct. So we say free time. So there you go. So yeah, this is a big topic, and it's a great topic, but there's so much that we could actually talk about because, oh my goodness, free time, people do all kinds of things with their free time. But we're going to sample just a few of things that Americans do, and also talk a little bit. I'd love to hear from people on the Zoom call today. I'd like to hear what you like to do on your free time, because everyone has their own idea about how they like to spend their time. So, there's a lot of choices. There are a lot of things to do. And this is just a small piece of all the choices that you really do have. There's so many different things that people like to do when they're not working. So here's this is sort of a good picture. It's sort of the typical backyard of a house in America. And I like it because it shows lots of different activities. One of my favorites, it actually is flying a kite. I absolutely love to fly a kite. And we live in an area where we get a lot of wind, and it's a perfect place to fly a kite. But yeah, you see people in this little swimming pool, you see the dogs, you see they're having a barbecue or a cookout. They're enjoying the meal together. They're on the slide in their little play set in their backyard. And this, I don't know what it's called in Ukrainian, but in America, we call it a hula hoop. A hula hoop. Do you have, what's it called? Do you have a name for this?
We're telling the same, hula hoop.
Oh yeah, it's the same. Yeah. I'm not too good at that anymore. I used to be good when I was younger, but not so much anymore. So this is pretty interesting, actually. This is a chart that shows the average time spent each day in minutes of all these different activities. And this is for Americans. Unfortunately, it's watching TV. That's not so healthy, but it's 160, so that's almost 3 hours a day of watching TV, which is seems to be way too much. Socializing and communicating, I think that's just sort of, staying in touch with their friends. Not even an hour, which is surprising. And then playing games, using the computer, half an hour for that. Reading only 19 minutes, which is shocking. I would have guessed more. And then very little sports and exercise. The average American doesn't exercise as much as they should. Relaxing and thinking is the same, which is interesting.
Okay.
And then only 5 minutes devoted to actual, arts and entertainment and taking in those sorts of activities. So I'm a little surprised, but this is for all of Americans. They take 330 million people and try to ask questions. I'm going to show you where this data comes from, but it's a fascinating part of the American government. It's called the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS. We'll talk more about them in a minute. So I'm showing you a few of my favorite activities. And as some of you might know, we have amazing scenery here where I live in the state of Washington, and lots of water. So boating is very popular here. Many people have boats, and we keep them in marinas. They're called marinas. And, amazing places to go boating. You have these beautiful mountains, you have forests. Of course, you have lots and lots of amazing scenery to see on your boat. So it's one of the real popular activities where I live. And this picture here, I mentioned that I live in the state of Olympia. I'm sorry, the city of Olympia, and it's our capital city. And this is our Capitol building in Olympia, state Capitol government building. And this is one of the many marinas around Olympia where people keep their boats. So yeah, it's a great place to go boating. This is a really popular American activity. Leisure time, particularly for families, is going camping. Taking the tent, taking the family, packing up the dog, bringing your guitar, going to one of the many campgrounds that we have in America. And they're everywhere. I'll show you a map in a few minutes and show you how many we have. But camping, sleeping outdoors under the stars, having maybe a little campfire, telling stories. This is very popular. And of course, my favorite part is roasting marshmallows over the fire. I don't know, do you do this in Ukraine? Do you have this in Ukraine?
Yeah, but it's not so common.
Yeah, not so common. Wow, it's pretty popular here.
We are doing that at home. We're we're lighting the candle and just.
yeah, light the candle and right.
Just eat the marshmallows without the fire. And
without the fire.
Yeah, and how is it called? When I was working in Girl Scouts camp, with that called s'mores, yes?
Perfect. That's it. That's exactly right.
How is it called? Chocolate, this marshmallows, and what else? Crackers?
Yeah, and they call it a graham cracker. It's sort of a thin cracker, sort of sweet. Mm-hmm. So you take this graham cracker, and you have two sides to it. You have two pieces. Then you put the piece of chocolate, like a Hershey bar or something, mm-hmm. some sort of chocolate. And then you roast the marshmallow until it's really soft, and ooh boy. And you put that in there, and then you make a sandwich and you eat it. And it's called a s'more because you always want some more. So this is very popular. So we talked about these camping, and this is a map that shows all of the camp. Yeah, it's crazy. 13,000 campgrounds in America. And these are just the public ones, the ones that the state and the national government run. Then there are probably that many more that are private campgrounds. So the number of campgrounds is unbelievable. And camping is very popular, particularly when the weather's nice. The winter, not so much, but in the summer and springtime like it is now, wow, super, super fun to go out camping. One of the other unusual events, these are just sort of, I've sort of picked some unusual ones, is American Rodeo. Maybe some of you know about this. It's particularly popular in the center of the country and in the west of the country. And this is where we have lots of open spaces, lots of animals, and of course, lots of cows and lots of sheep. So whenever you have lots of cows and lots of sheep, you have lots of cowboys and cowgirls. And one of their, they're always riding horses to get around on their ranches to keep track of their animals. So one of the sports that has developed in America over these years is something that's called rodeo. And it's really horse skills. How good are you riding a horse? How good are you with these skills that are part of it? And of course, they make it more complicated in rodeo. They have these horses where you try to ride them and stay on the horse. They have all kinds of competitions. So if you're interested, do some research on rodeo. It's a really big part of American culture, particularly in the western part of the United States. Yeah, they have what they call calf roping, where you ride your horse and you catch the young calf with your rope. So yeah, they have all kinds of events. So here we are, another chart. And again, this one is from that Bureau of Labor Statistics we talked about. This is a little different. So how the averages spend their time, 24 hours in a day, right? So you have 24 hours. How do you spend your time? And it's pretty interesting that sleeping takes a big part of the day. So if you're like me, you do enjoy your sleeping. And what's really interesting to me is that work is really, it's a pretty big part of the day, but it's not the biggest. I know when I was working, I always thought work was half of my day. And maybe it was, but the average American, it's more like, looks like 6 or 7 hours here. And then this is interesting. Leisure and sports is a bigger piece of this pie than working. So kind of interesting. Eating and drinking, household activities. I mentioned cleaning around the house. Education, community education is pretty small. Well, I don't know about that. So yeah, this is kind of interesting, how much time is actually spent. According to this chart, Americans sleep a lot, 9.5 hours a night, almost 9.54 hours down here. So this is that site I was telling you about. If you're curious about any part of American life, this Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS.gov, unbelievable website, unbelievable. We collect so much information in the United States about all kinds of behavior, work, the economy, how people spend their time, all these things. And all this information is on the website, and you can search it. It's a huge website. It's absolutely enormous. So if you're curious and you want to, do a little research, or maybe you're putting together some research for school, go visit this. It's really pretty amazing. One more chart. This is a little bit different. This is the average leisure time or free time in a week is estimated to be about 50 hours in an entire week. So if you took that 50 hours, how do Americans spend their time, in that? What kinds of leisure activities? This is rather interesting. Surfing the internet, 14%. And that's almost the largest one outside of television. Looks like television is big, and listening to music or listening to the radio is about the same. So these three seem to be, by far the largest. How do you think this compares to your life? How do you spend your time? does this look about right, or is this completely different?
I don't know, maybe somebody wants to help.
Yeah. Any ideas?
So,
Teenagers, I think it's internet, first of all, and TV.
Yeah.
And listening to the music. Yeah, this three is the most, like, the first. Yes.
Yeah, this was interesting. I was surprised. I was really surprised that reading, which is one of the things I enjoy doing, is pretty small. It's only about 7%. So here we go. And then one more graph. And this one was just sort of really interesting to me. It's the number of average minutes per day spent eating and drinking. So we here in North America, Mexico, Canada, United States, not so much. But look at France. France, 135 minutes a day. Vive la France, right? I mean, you gotta love that. And apparently New Zealand is not far behind. I guess they have a pretty great life eating and drinking in New Zealand. So, but a big difference. I mean, look at United States, 74 minutes, so a little more than an hour a day. And in France, it's almost twice that.
They like to eat and drink.
Yeah, you gotta love that. I thought that was pretty interesting. Oh, so this is an interesting map. So you got lots of different colors here. And what this map shows is by state in the United States, which states are more active, which states, where people are doing more things, particularly outdoor activities. And it's pretty interesting. Here's where I live. I live way up here in the state of Washington, and any green state has the most active people, on average, more involved in outdoor activities, doing more things outside of the house. So Washington and Oregon, Utah, which is where I was last week on my trip, and Colorado, right next to it. These four states, oh yes, and Washington, D.C., which is our nation's capital. It's located here, but they've put a little spot here to show it. These five areas have the most sort of active outdoor life. And then followed by that, yellow is sort of the next step down. They're still pretty active, and a lot of states, Illinois, Wisconsin, there you go, Stas, there's Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, North Dakota, all these states here, Idaho, California, Arizona, New Mexico, and then in the east, North Carolina, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and then what we call New England, which is Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. These are also pretty active. People are out doing things. But these states, not so much. People tend to stay more. Yeah, it's very interesting. People tend to stay more indoors. Maybe it's weather, maybe it's culture. A lot of people say it's more culture. They don't do as many sports activities. They tend to do more things indoors. Which is it's pretty interesting. So yeah, and then what's really interesting, you've got Alaska and Hawaii. Alaska is a surprise because of the weather. But there's still people that love to be outdoors. Yeah. So anyway, so that was kind of interesting view of American activity.
And Wisconsin is quite popular with the boats, so they're also like having the boat season opening quite soon. So
right.
A lot of my friends are already like posting that, yeah, finally.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and of course, here's sort of a classic little chart that shows all kinds of activities for outdoors. Hanging out with friends. That's a good American phrase, hang out. And Another one, which at least we haven't been doing in America since COVID, is going to the cinema, going to the movies. So most of the movie theaters are still closed here. So, at some point, we're hoping that they will open back up when it becomes safer to do so, and people can go back to watch movies. So here's, again, one of my favorite activities. Bicycle touring, it's called. So you pack up your camping gear, as we saw earlier, your little tent, your sleeping bag, some food, and you take a trip on your bicycle. And all those campgrounds that you saw earlier, they're great places to stay as a bicycle tourist. So yeah, you set up your tent, you take your maps out, you check your trip, and you have something to eat. She looks like she's cooking here. She's got a little pot here, making something to eat. So this is quite popular in America, and it's one of my favorite things to do.
Wow.
Yeah, nice picture. Yeah. I wish I could take pictures like that. And lots of outdoor activities. There's a place in the state of New Mexico that I have visited a few times. It's called Albuquerque. It's their largest city, and they have a big hot weather or hot air balloon festival there. Every year, people bring these hot air balloons there, and the sky is covered in these balloons. They're everywhere. You see many, many of them up in the air at the same time. So that's an unusual leisure activity, but really amazing. This is great fun if you ever have a chance to go rafting down a river. And of course, all kinds of events, all kinds of different activities, including extreme sports. I'm not going to be doing these things. I don't know about you, but this is not for me.
Why not?
Is there anyone here on the call who does any of these extreme sports? Are there any climbers, or do you have anyone riding their motorcycle and doing jumps, those sorts of things?
Oh, I have a friend who was doing motorcycle, so he was doing motorbike racing. He came from Donetsk region here to Kirovograd 5 years ago for the Zavadivka trek. So he started the race, done about 4 laps, and then he fell off the bike. So he doesn't remember actually how he started and how he was driving. The only thing that he remembers then when he was in the hospital already.
Oh,
so
no!
That's really ridiculous about that.
Oh no! Is he okay now? Is he okay?
Yeah, he already sold the bike.
That was a smart idea. Yeah, good idea. So yeah, this is a pretty good chart to show, all these different outdoor activities. And it's just fun to be outdoors, particularly when the weather is so nice. And here's another one. Here's one that's really popular in the area that I live in.
Surfing?
Yeah. Wind surfing, they call it, or board surfing. And it looks like you're on one of these, surfboards, but it has obviously a sail attached to it. And there's an area on the Columbia River, which is not far from where I live. And it's in an area called Hood River. And it's got a big mountain behind it, as you can see here. And the wind it's always windy there. Just almost anytime you go, something about the geography and the water, excuse me, and it creates this great wind. So people take their sailboards down there and they go sailboarding on this part of the Columbia River. Not something that I will be doing, however. So yeah. But I finish with this one. This is still I think, one of the great leisure time activities. When you've got nothing to do, you go to the library, right, Christy?
Yes, sure. And take some books for reading.
That's right. Take a book, go sit in the park, find a comfortable chair or a tree, and just relax. So this is still my favorite thing to do. So there you go.
That's nice. And now your pictures.
Oh yes, that's right. Oh yes, we have some time.
And your story.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me pull those up. Yeah, so last week, here we go. Yeah. So let me just go back.
We still see the screen of your presentation.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you. Yeah, let me see if I can stop that. Okay, so now I gotta get this one going. So share. Okay. Everyone see a big mountain?
Yes.
Good. So yeah, so a few weeks ago, I put my bicycle in my car and packed up my things, and I drove first to the state of Oregon, which is about 3 or 4 hours south of where I live. And I went to this area that has these big old volcanoes. Oh, there are 3 or 4 of them there. And as you can see, it's just amazing view. And so I love to take my bicycle and go bicycle riding in these areas that have this great scenery. So this is one of the scenes, and I'll just sort of go through. And here's another that I took when I was riding my bike. These mountains are called the Sisters. I think that's a good name. They look like sisters. And so what's popular in America, a lot of areas have created bicycle trails. So there are areas through scenic parts of the area of the town or the region that these trails are built, and they're just for walkers and bicycles, no cars, you know, and it's great. And they're in good condition. They have a nice surface, easy to ride. And they have, you know, restrooms and little parks and little signs and maps, and it's great. And it's a wonderful way to ride your bicycle if you don't want to deal with cars. As you can see, these trails are just wonderful, and great scenery. You know, as you're riding the trail, you have these beautiful views, and you'll see these signs every once in a while. Scenic bikeway. It's just for bicycles. So here's my bike, and notice the Ukrainian colors. Thank you very much. Yes, yes.
Do you still have that Nepogano sign?
I do.
Or sticker?
I have my Nepogano bike, and I have my Dobre bike. So I have 2 Ukrainian bicycles. Yes. But I decided to bring my Ukrainian colors for this trip. So yeah, Slava Ukraina. So there you go. Yeah, just a great scenery, just amazing. Yeah, and this is on that same bike trail. So they have a little place to fill your water bottle. You know, it's one of these automatic where you put your water bottle. They have a little portable restroom back here, a little sign. This is my favorite part. This is for walkers with their dogs. This is a dog water fountain.
Mm-hmm.
So and the little water bowls for the dogs. So I think that's great. And here's an example of the little areas that have little maps that show you, tell you about the trail and the directions that the trail goes. That was very helpful. Yeah, here's the picture of the map. Yeah, kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then all these. We talked about Rodeo, you know, before on the presentation, and in this town, the weekend that I was riding my bicycle there, they had a rodeo. at the big rodeo center. They also, next to the rodeo, at this big center, they had a vaccination site set up. You know, maybe you've read about vaccinations in America. We're doing a lot of them right now. I think they are averaging about 3 million vaccinations each day in America. So all these towns all over America have set up sites like this. And you can see this one. Yeah, does anyone habla español? Anyone speak Spanish on the call here? No? Okay. This is English, obviously, and Spanish. And yeah, this is kind of interesting. They have their little sign up to show you how to stay safe. Anyway, so this is my license plate on my car. And I wanted to show you, because remember a few weeks ago we talked about license plates. So here's the Washington license plate. It has a mountain.
Mount Rainier.
Yeah, Mount Rainier. Very good, Stas. So yeah, there it is. And the name of our state is Washington, but we call it the Evergreen State because we have lots of those big evergreen trees. So there you go. Yeah, and American highways. This is what you see. And this is in the state of Utah. And as you can, there you go, Stas. There's the trucks, Stas. Mm-hmm. You can see it's just big open highways that go as far as you can see, and very easy driving.
And it's so sunny. 2 days ago it was snowing and black ice in Wyoming.
Was it? Oh goodness, yeah. No, it was beautiful in the state of Utah. Yeah, this was in Utah, one of the little rest stops off the highway. And then of course this is my bicycle riding, and you can see this is a pretty steep hill. So I managed to get up that. Mm-hmm. And you can see these trails. These are bicycle trails that go up into these canyons. Mm-hmm. And oh my goodness, it's just absolutely so scenic. It's just amazing. Yeah, this was a really steep hill up into this canyon. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like Ukraine, huh?
The same.
Yeah, just the same. Yeah. At the Krovgrad? No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, interesting. So I took this picture to show, this is a bicycle road sign. It shows you the bicycle trails going to different areas. You know, these are all, you can see there's a bicycle sign here. So these are all bicycle trails next to the main road for cars. Yeah, beautiful. Just amazing. What a place to ride. And we're in the desert. So of course, lots of cactus, you can see the cactus here and, different kinds of desert plants. And this is just an area of houses. We talked several weeks ago about different style houses in America. So these are desert houses, they're low, they have flat roofs usually, and they're made of this stucco to help hold the heat, hold the cool in. They have the air conditioning, so they want them to be well protected from the sun and the heat outside. There's your new house, Stas. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, just really, really amazing scenery.
How long have you been riding your bicycle? I mean, the whole day or 2 days? Where did you sleep, in the tent or in the
Yeah. So on this trip, I would ride each day for maybe 4 or 5 hours. Mm-hmm. And I was riding about between 60 and 100 kilometers every day. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so pretty far. On this trip, I stayed in a hotel because I was using my car to go to different areas. I would drive to a different area and then I would stop. So I stayed in hotels every night. But on other trips, yeah, I will on shorter trips that are closer to home, I will do my tent and do my camping.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can see this is part of the bicycle trail, this bridge that goes over and then keeps going on this side. But yeah, just really interesting scenery. Lots of red rock. Yeah, you can see the snow in the mountains here. And yeah, so here I am going over those mountains, driving to the next location, and you can see this beautiful red rock. But we're driving way, way up over the top of this mountain. And we were at 3,000 meters high right here, 3,000 meters up, way up high. And of course, lots of snow still in the springtime. Yeah. So here's feet. So this is the equivalent of about 3,000 meters in feet, 9,000 feet. Yep, just more red rock, all kinds of. Oh, here's one, Stas. I wanted to show you this one. There's your new house, right there, right there.
Some sort of a bunker.
Yeah.
Just for the zombie apocalypse.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you can see the scenery is just is really special. A great place to bicycle ride. And this is driving back now in the state of Utah. And again, more highway shots. You can see these roads just go on forever.
Amazing roads.
Yeah, amazing. And this is that river that we talked about earlier, the Columbia River, where people like to sailboard. And oh, it's just a beautiful river. And this is that Mount Hood that you saw in the picture from the highway. Yep, yep. A beautiful place to drive and a beautiful place to visit. So yeah, that's it.
Beautiful place to live in, United States.
Yeah, this is we're really lucky, really lucky to live in such a pretty spot, pretty place.
Yeah. Amazing.
So yeah, so that's it. And I'd love to hear any questions if anyone has any questions or comments.
Come on, girls and boys.
Is it true that there are music roads in America?
There are, I'm sorry, is there what sort of roads?
Is it true that there are music roads in USA?
Music roads.
Yes.
Oh, gee, tell me about that. I don't know, Nastya. Tell me more about that. Yeah, music roads. Oh, you mean where there's music playing along the road or in the road?
Yeah, I think she meant that.
Gee, that's what a great idea. I don't know. I don't.
Oh, like this.
Yeah, that's great. That is wonderful. That is super.
But there is no music on it, yeah? No.
Maybe there is. Yeah.
Just the print.
I know about music roads in Japan, but not in the United States.
Oh, is there really? Is there one in Japan? Yeah.
Yeah, so they're making those stripes on the road as we are having near the pedestrian crossings. So that to inform the drivers that they are coming close to the pedestrian area. Right. And they're having those stripes all along the road. So basically those are distances quite done. So they are having those music just not to just keep the drivers awake so the drivers won't fall asleep while they're driving for long distances.
Idea. What a great idea.
It's a great project to make in Ukraine.
Yeah, I agree.
One stop, right?
Nastya, thank you. That was brilliant. What a great idea. Thanks for your question. Any other questions from anyone else?
No, I haven't any questions.
Sure. No questions? Well, thank you for saying so anyway. It's nice to see you.
It's really beautiful scenery in the USA.
Ah, thanks. Yeah, this part of the country, this western part has amazing scenery, you know, big mountains, amazing desert, you know, it's got the Grand Canyon, you know, I mean, all those things. So yeah, there's lots to see.
That's great.
So I was thinking next week, I have an idea. Does anyone else have a request? Because if not, I have an idea for next week.
Tell us your idea.
Okay, my idea. So as you know, I live in the state of Washington. So I thought I would do a presentation about the state of Washington and just tell you, yeah, more about where I live. Because it's a pretty amazing state. It's a big state, but not that many people. Only about 7 million people live in this state. So it's really an amazing place. So I thought I would do a presentation about the state, about the city of Seattle, right? About the state of Washington, the entire state, and also why it's such an unusual place. We have different climates, we have different geography, we have rivers and lakes and huge mountains and the ocean and lots of technology. You know, we've got Microsoft and Amazon and all these companies that are located. It's an unusual state. So I thought it would be an interesting presentation for next week. Does that sound okay?
Yes.
Yes,
Cool.
I think it will be cool.
Cool, thanks.
So the
Well,
same time, the same day, the next week, yes? Friday, 5 p.m.
Same. Yeah,
And the same codes and passwords, yes?
same everything.
Okay, but the topic is not the same.
Oh, and my daughter Katie is going to be coming here from Washington D.C. for a visit. She's flying across the country, and if I can encourage her, I'll have her join us for part of it, so she can say hi. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, it was very interesting today. Thank you for your job.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Okay,
Thanks.
see you next Friday, and everybody join us. Do not forget. Okay.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
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 Bye.